that pumps Garvin Stewart up here for the second half, knowing now that he is the homecoming king. Does that elevate his play any?
He is the king. I think Roger Grove now has no choice but to give him the ball.
In that first half, Garvin, 4 carries for 21 yards, as he and Swittenberg combined for a commendable half, but really the Eagles just couldn't put it all together. And the big drive, of course, was being stopped down low after the long completion. Blake to Milligan, the Eagles couldn't convert on 1st and goal from the 8-yard line.
Right, it's not the big yardage that Norristown has been getting on the ground in previous games. Swittenberg only with 13 carries for 41 yards. But the big play was that 48-yard pass play from Chris Blake to Don Milligan down the line, and Norristown tried to pound it in, tried to go with their strength. They've been running the ball pretty well all game, and Council Rock came up pretty big that time. That's what kept it a scoreless tie. Other numbers from that first half of play: Matt Verbit, the Indian quarterback, 3 for 4 for 14 yards through the 2 INTs, both by Don Milligan. And the big tailback for Council Rock Indians, Alex Wade, 12 carries for 67 yards. The other side of the ball for the Eagles, Chris Blake, 5 for 8, 75 yards. Of course, 48 of them on that big pass play to Milligan. And we gave you Swittenberg and Stewart's numbers. Jeff, the first half was pretty even, I think. Really, time of possession, not a factor either way. Both teams seem pretty fresh, pretty ready to go. Looks like it's just going to key off of which team can sustain a drive longer. May hinge on a big play as well, but even Norristown's big play in that first half didn't result in any points. So I think now each team is just going to look to get some sort of points up on the board. I think pressed with that situation again, Roger Grove might make another decision.
And of course, Walt, since the Eagles elected to receive in the first half, the Indians will have the first possession of this second half. We've seen a lot of punting today, perhaps more punting than we see in the average high school game. But the defensive play, as Walt just mentioned, has been excellent so far on both sides of the ball. I've been impressed by a couple fellas for Norristown, Walt, today. Greg DeLucia, we seem to be calling his number a lot today. He does a fine job usually on that offensive line, but we don't see him as often on the defensive side of the ball, but he's doing a great job today.
Well, linebacker is really a position for the Eagles that player can be noticed. There's a lot of room out there for those linebackers because most of the formations Norristown uses, there's only 2 of them. So they're the guys who really have to plug the holes and hawk down the ball, along with Garvin Stewart, who plays his safety position like a linebacker. So they need a lot of really active people there, and it's a very tough position to play. Unlike their linemen, Norristown really doesn't rotate their linebackers that much. It's pretty much DeLucia and Johnson all the time, unless, as we said in the first half, they drop Perry into coverage or bring Stewart up right behind that line. So it's a difficult position to play, especially for a two-way player like DeLucia, and he is playing extremely well today.
The other 2 names are 2 that we perhaps talk about it with a bit more frequency. One of them is Garvin Stewart, and a lot of this defense is keyed around him and his ability to come up and help out on the run. And Garvin has been doing a great job, all kidding aside about him being homecoming king and how that'll affect this play. But Garvin has been right in the thick of things as usual. And the other guy I've noticed a bit is Josiah Perry. Perry really using his speed to put some pressure on Verbit on the few times when Council Rock has attempted to pass. I just think he's a great all-around player. I like to watch him play the game.
Yeah, Norristown's really stepped up their pressure this year, particularly from that front 5. They really can't afford to do much of anything else fancy in the way of blitzing. They pretty much come with those front 5 and the ends, and Perry and whoever they may be using on the other side, sometimes Burrell, are really coming hard after the quarterback.
So we have 2 men back deep for the Indians. Of course, it'll be Albie Morano doing the kicking chores for the Eagles. And it looks like back deep for the Indians we'll have number 31, Bill Cheffo, along with number 27, Joe Coleman. So, folks, if you joined us late, it's a scoreless tie, 0-0 after one half of play on a beautiful fall afternoon here at Roosevelt Field. Just again, a quick reminder, this game is brought to you by the Norristown Area School District. Mr. Tony Koya, the Director of Communications, Mr. Sam Galbraith, our producer today, assisted by Director Garrett Hickman and cameraman Azad Shirozian. The kick is back, it's deep, taken at the 4-yard line by Cheffo, comes up the near side, eludes the first set of tacklers and takes it out past the 30 till he's finally brought down. Don Milligan do a little dog top of the pile there. Dog pile on the rabbit is where I was going, I guess, for you Bugs Bunny aficionados. And, of course, we want to thank our statistician, Greg Fry. Greg not getting to keep track of any scoring here today, but doing a fine job with the running and passing statistics. In at quarterback is the sophomore for the Indians, number 19, Matt Verbit. The backfield, Warg and Wade. They go to Wade up the middle, and he bulls his way forward for several yards, brought down low by Darrell Johnson.
I think Council Rock at this point may be regretting a little bit that they chose to run that reverse pass near the end of that first half that was intercepted by Milligan. And actually, I attributed that interception to Verbit, but it was their wideout, Chris Mahoney, who threw it. And it looks like they're just going to come out and try and pound the ball a little bit here to start the third quarter.
Wade again off that left side. He is driven back and brought down. Johnson finishes off the work started by Josiah Perry.
And Perry made the nice stop on a man much bigger than him and Alex Wade. Perry went down low and got right onto Wade's thighs to make sure he couldn't get his legs moving, and then just waited for the help to come in the form of Darrell Johnson.
Brings up 3rd and 6 from the 39-yard line. But I'll tell you, Walt, for a young man that had a lot of press coming into this ball game, Wade has really been kept in check by this Eagle defense. Verbit, the play action, rolls right. He's got Warg out in the flat, goes across the middle. What a great catch. Boy, that's a pro catch that time by number 30, Rich Bettison. And a great ball by Verbit. He just rifled it over the middle. Bettison reaches up, pops it up in the air, just cradles it in as he falls to the ground.
And that fake to Wade, the play action, really allowed Verbit to get to the outside and roll out with time. Bettison's the tight end, but he was behind all but 2 of the Norristown defenders. Really found a nice zone there, and Verbit hit him well.
So a big play on 3rd down for the Indians puts them into Eagle territory at the Norristown 40-yard line. Wade bulls up the middle, stacked up in the middle by Burrell.
Jeff, you mentioned how Alex Wade isn't throwing up the big numbers that he usually gets. He's got enough. I mean, he's over 70 yards now, and we've just started the third quarter, but it's not that 7-7 a carry that he's been getting. And so the Norristown defense, you have to give them credit for that, for really stopping him up and at least making him have to carry the load to get the big yardage.
Picked up 3 on that last play, brings up 2nd and 7 for Council Rock. They split the receivers. Coleman and Mahoney. The backs are split as well. The quick hit to Wade off the left side. He shakes off DeLucia, but there's 2 guys to pick up the slack there. That was Darrell Johnson, the other linebacker, along with Garvin Stewart.
And there aren't many players on that wearing those blue shirts who can bring Alex Wade down one-on-one. I don't think there are many in this Suburban 1 who can. They need help, but they're really playing great team defense and gang tackling.
Third down for the Indians now in Eagle territory. Again, the play action, same play we saw. The short rollout, he's got a lot of time. Delivers, incomplete. I'll tell you what, that ball was in the hands of the intended receiver, Bettison, but he couldn't bring that one down after the spectacular catch earlier in this drive.
Well, the Indians have come out with something a little bit different now. They're allowing Verbit to throw over the middle, and certainly his arm looks much stronger doing that than it did on throwing that out early that Milligan picked off. And they are finding Bettison. Obviously, they saw something in that first half in that Eagle defense where behind those linebackers there was a lot of room. And that's where Bettison is roaming, and they've found him twice for one big play.
Here's a call by Mike Ortman. He's going to go for it on 4th and 6 from the Eagle 37-yard line. Little draw play. Stopped by Doug White. Doug White just rips down Eric Ward. Eagles will take over on downs.
Boy, that's the kind of play that got him the Times Herald Defensive of the Week honors last week. He was all over that play. Boy, there was no surprise to Doug White on that.
And the offensive lineman that time didn't have a chance. I mean, White just was undeterred on that last play.
It's fabulous quickness for a 290-pound guy. I mean, to jump onto a good tailback like that quickly, boy, that requires some excellent anticipation.
So the Eagle defense shuts down the Indians. They go to Swittenberg up the middle. He penetrates into the defensive secondary, close to a first down. Troy Swittenberg drives ahead. We have a timeout down on the field for a measurement, close to 10 yards. There's 8:33 to play here in the third quarter. The Eagles and the Indians today. I'm going to have to get on Nick Rotundo about that. That's a bad spot he has there on that flag. Nick's got to have a little more of a hometown flavor there. It leaves the Eagles short by about 2 inches.
And this is a spot where the Eagles could really do a lot of things. You can pretty much count on getting 2 inches on any down, so they have that third down play to do it. Right now, on second and a couple of inches, they have a lot of options, and they're going to come out with Milligan split left and Zitzer split wide right.
Chris Blake on the quarterback keeper. May not have gotten it. Well, I don't like that call.
No,
on second down, I think that's a wasted down.
Even just giving the ball to Swittenberg or Stewart is going to be safe. It's going to get you the first down, and these guys always have the potential to break it. You certainly don't have to throw deep there because you're risking the turnover, but, boy, even just handing the ball off to one of those good backs is going to get you your yardage and probably more.
And we'll have another timeout on the field as the officials request the sticks to be brought out again. I don't think Nick Rotundo's had this much exercise in about 20 years. And they're going to be short again, I believe, by about the same distance.
Yeah, they cut it about in half.
Instead of 2 inches, it's now 1 inch. Coach Grove certainly playing it conservatively here with 8 minutes to go in the third quarter. Ball close to midfield. The Eagles face now with third and less than an inch. This time they bring everybody in tight except for Milligan. They go to Swittenberg. Swittenberg has the first down across midfield. So Troy Swittenberg able to convert for Norristown. Again, Milligan wide left with Zitzer in close. He comes in motion now. The pitch follows to the short side. Swittenberg has Burrell out front. James Burrell put a mean block out there on number 32, Corey Jones.
Yeah, Jones was looking to line Swittenberg up, and James Burrell really came pulling from that offensive tackle position, leading Troy Swittenberg well and allowed him to slip behind him for a couple of extra yards, put Norristown second and short again.
The line of scrimmage now, the Indian 42-yard line. The pitch to the left side behind Stewart. Swittenberg has the first down, turns it to the outside, ducks inside a tackler, and picks up nice yardage down to about the 32-yard line. Call it 10 yards on the play.
Boy, he just gallops. With that first step upfield when he changes direction is so quick and so explosive. Any little hole he just shoots through and is looking for the next hole. But it's that quick first step as he bounces around the outside of his line, plants that foot and turns upfield that makes him so explosive.
So Swittenberg with the big carry gives the Eagles another first down, now down to the Indian 32-yard line. Stewart and Swittenberg in the eye. They follow Stewart this time on the pitch right. Swittenberg gets hit hard, shakes off that tackler, manages to pick up a yard, maybe 2. The tackler that time was number 96, Vince Shrema.
I was waiting for him to get a play just so you could say that. But Norristown now is churning the ball down the field. And it's really going to be a test to see whether they can stick it in the end zone doing what they're doing or whether they're going to need to pull something else out. Now they've inserted Don Vaughn into the lineup in the backfield, and Vaughn has been their big play guy this year, running reverses and catching big passes. He's in at the tailback spot for Swittenberg.
They fake to Vaughn, go to Garvin Stewart on the quick hit. Off the right side, and Stewart with a nice gain that time. It's going to bring up 3rd and short for the Eagles. 3rd and a long yard. Let's call it 2, maybe.
And that's what they needed because Council Rock was really starting to hone in on Swittenberg and put 3 men on him at all times. And Swittenberg was having to fight hard for every yard, but that time with the fake to Vaughn, holding the linebackers ever so slightly, allowed Stewart to slip up for good yardage.
Swittenberg back in. Just out for that one-play breather. Jim Zitzer comes in motion. Troy Swittenberg has the first down for the Eagles. He is brought down by the linebacking core. That was number 57, middle linebacker Andrew Wirtz, who made the tackle, but Swittenberg moves ahead for another Eagle first down, 1st and 10 from the 21-yard line. Chris Blake, the junior quarterback for Norristown. Oh, a little reverse to Vaughn. And he is knocked down at the line of scrimmage. And that time they faked inside to Swittenberg. Vaughn came from the receiver position, and Council Rock stayed home and defensed that well.
That's what they've used Don Vaughn for this year. He's got excellent speed, and they normally try to send him around the outside on a little misdirection play when just to hold everybody looking at Troy Swittenberg and allow Don Vaughn to get to the outside. That time Vaughn saw the hole up inside, but gained no yardage.
2nd and 10 for the Eagles from the Indian 21. Chris Blake with a quick drop. He's got a man open. That was Don Vaughn. He just overthrew him that time. Richie Bettison was there on the coverage, but looked like Blake had a seam for Vaughn. Wasn't able to convert, however.
Yeah, they sent Milligan down the right side and then cut into the post, and then they brought Don Vaughn out into that area that Milligan had cleared and took the defensive back with him. And that time Blake looked like he just overthrew it a little bit. We've seen him do that a couple times this year where he doesn't want to underthrow that ball, and I guess if you're going to make a mistake, you want to make that mistake out of bounds.
But it brings up 3rd and 10 now for Norristown. Blake, the play action, batted. Swittenberg almost makes the reception, but it's knocked away. And that time, Chris Blake had his ball batted at the line of scrimmage, was trying to go over the middle that time. Swittenberg almost reeled it down, but good pressure that time by the defender. 4th and 10 now for Norristown, and a big decision for Roger Grove.
The ball spot at the 20. It's going to be a 37-yard field goal. If you want to take that risk, and it looks like they are going to take that risk, it's a big 3 points to get up on the board. When you get up on the board first in a game like this, really gives your team some life.
Senior kicker Albie Morano certainly has the leg for it. Morano's had an up-and-down season. The spot is there. Oh, I'll tell you, the pressure was superb that time. Not even going to make it to the goal post. That ball dropped just inside the goal line, at least 8-10 yards short. But it was excellent penetration that time by the Indians, really not allowing Morano to kick through that ball, I don't think.
Yeah, it looked like Morano didn't want to get that low trajectory he was going to need to make a field goal of that length because he saw somebody coming in, try to chip it over the top, and that ball landed just inside the goal line. So now Council Rock's going to start at the Norristown 20. Norristown failing to convert again after an 11-play drive.
So once again, the Indians bend but do not break, stopping Norristown deep in their own territory. Wade off the left side is brought down by DeLucia once again. Alex Wade picks up several yards, give him 4, make it 2nd and 6 from the 24-yard line. And Walt, that drive ate up a lot of time on the clock. We've got only about 3 minutes and 40 seconds to play here in the 3rd quarter. The score, however, remains at 0.
Yeah, Norristown went about, excuse me, Jeff, about 4.5 minutes on that one. It was 11 plays, a lot of running plays, so they churned it up a little bit.
Oh, look at that penetration by Burrell, and he manhandles Alex Wade. Just threw him to the turf. Well, I'll tell you, that speaks to the size and the strength of James Burrell.
And the speed to get across that line of scrimmage and get right to Alex Wade before he can even turn upfield. That's what makes Wade tough, is when he can turn upfield and use his strength and his power running. But that time, Burrell didn't let him do it. And with Wade trying to get to the outside, Burrell was able to just sling him down to the ground.
With the loss on that play, it brings up 3rd and a long 9 for the Indians from their own 21. Ward comes in motion, the fullback. They follow him with Wade to the outside on the running play. He bulls ahead. Oh, wow, I'll tell you, what an effort by Alex Wade. And I tell you what, Walt, I think the Norristown defenders gave up a little bit on that one. They thought they had him stopped, and it didn't seem like they converged on the ball carrier that time, allowing Wade to bull ahead for the first down.
Yes, a guy that size will make you pay when you quit on him. And that time it looked like they gave up a little bit. They've been doing a great job of tackling Alex Wade today, not letting him get those extra yardage, but he's always looking for that opportunity. And if he keeps those legs churning, you're going to have to gang tackle him as they've been doing.
It was 12 yards on that ground game for a first down at the 33-yard line. Verbit, again the play action, rolls right. He's got pursuit out there, and he's tripped up. Falls forward for a nice gain, but he was tripped up on the outside. I believe that was by Josiah Purry, the defensive end.
That's the first time that Verbit's ventured across the line of scrimmage to actually run the ball. Looked like a quarterback option, whether he wanted to throw or run that, and Verbit thought he had some room up inside to run. But that's obviously not what the Indians want to be doing. When they roll him out, they want him looking for maybe his tight end, Bedisma, or somebody like that. Bedism, I'm sorry.
4 yards on that play brings up 2nd and 6. Warg this time goes in motion to the far side. Wade follows him again, cuts it back up inside, effectively still on his feet. He's got a man on his back. That's Garvin Stewart, but a big gain that time by Alex Wade, and maybe the sleeping giant has awakened.
Yeah, well, he ran through 2 solo tackles that time from the Eagles, and they've been doing such a great job of at least stopping him and waiting for help that time as they tried to get him down around the thigh pads there. He just ran right through, got those knees up high, and blasted through the blue shirts. Boy, Alex Wade starting to turn it on now, and his line is starting to help him out. 108 yards, that breaks the century mark for Alex Wade.
20 yards on that last carry puts the Indians into Norristown territory. 1st and 10 from the Eagle 42. The quick hit batted away by Brian Webster, number 50. Got those arms up, knocked that ball away at the line of scrimmage.
That's the best way to defend one of those quick hitters, as that time the quarterback Verbit just took a quick 3-step drop, tried to sling it out to his receiver about 5 yards off the line of scrimmage, and Brian Webster threw the arms up. Such a tough play to cover if you're a defensive back, because that receiver just drives off the line, and there he is open. Brian Webster shut it down.
This time Wade, nothing there. The Eagle defense coming from all sides, it seemed. There were 2 guys from the rear, 2 guys from the front there to meet Alex Wade.
Sure, and they've learned from those past couple of runs from Alex Wade that you need to help. You absolutely need to help your teammates bring down a guy that size and with that kind of power.
So it's 3rd and 8 now from the Norristown 40-yard line with 50 seconds to play here in the 3rd quarter. If you joined us late, it's a scoreless tie, folks. A defensive struggle back and forth all day. Verbit, little play action, doesn't sell it too hard, rolls to his left, throws across his body, man open, complete to the 4-yard line. Chris Mahoney, number 2, with a nice catch and an even better throw from the sophomore Matt Verbit. Going to his left, throws across his body, 36-yard completion.
It looked like on that play, Don Milligan had 2 guys down there. He had his man down in the corner, and then Mahoney, the receiver. And then it looked like the safety, A.J. Hamaday, sort of gave up on that one as Mahoney ran behind him, and he instead trying to get across from his left cornerback position, couldn't get there in time. Verbit laid it out there nicely, and Mahoney went up and got it.
So Council Rock with their first real threat of the ball game, and it's 1st and goal from the 4, and this is where Wade can be dangerous. Look at Darrell Johnson. Man, what a nice tackle. There's a linebacker. He's beyond the line of scrimmage into the backfield and just upends Alex Wade.
That's usually what you count on your defensive lineman for, is to get low. That time, Darryl Johnson, the linebacker, through the hole, got low.
That's the last play of the third quarter. So we'll have 12 minutes remaining in this ball game with Council Rock knocking on the door. 2nd and goal was probably a loss of a yard on that last play. It's going to bring up 2nd and goal from the 5-yard line. So Walt, through 3 quarters, still scoreless. We don't see too much of that anymore. Usually in high school football, we see a lapse here and there that results in an easy score and some breakdowns, mental breakdowns that get points on the board. But both teams really playing a fantastic ball game today.
Yeah, there haven't been any lapses except for possibly that one that we just saw right there as Mahoney really slipped behind the Norristown coverage. And there haven't been any real huge plays. One pass play on each side is about all I can remember. And right now, Council Rock threatening off of their big pass play just as Norristown did.